4, 3, 2, 1.
And action.
Boom. Welcome to season 5, everybody. It's Interfleet Broadcasting. I'm your co-host, New York Pete. I'm here with my esteemed colleague and technical director, co-host, Tipsy Toaster.
Wait. Hello.
He's our resident robot-based life form here on IFB.
You said robot overlord wrong.
See? What did I just say? Anyway, just wanted to thank all of you for tuning in to our pop culture sci-fi 70s and 80s anchored show. Tipsy and I are real big Battlestar Galactica 1978 fans of the franchise as well, but we happen to come from that era where we watched all that stuff live. And let's just jump right in. We have a great guest tonight. Oh, yeah. And of course, John 1 is waiting in the wings for him, for us to, have him give his great review that he always does. So that's cool.
Oh, having trouble tonight there? Need to drink more tea, sir.
Yeah, there's a bunch of stuff I want to bring up. That's what it's about. But
too much going on in that small brain of yours. You need another brain like Cylon does.
I know. One of the things before we do our toast is I just wanted to, actually thank everybody again. Our numbers were tremendously crazy last show that we did. And I just thank everyone for, tuning in and being with us and watching us. It's really
it's time for the magic mirror. Come on.
Right. Yeah. Well, okay, guys. So let's welcome Lola, of course.
Her name is Lola. Moreno. She was a showgirl.
Right. Kim and James McCoy and George G's in the house. Paul, Commander Kane, thank you for joining. And
I love the way you
Chuck,
say Paul.
Well, that's not your business, so just calm down.
Business.
Yes.
Paul. Pocket.
Hey, listen.
Hey.
Watch yourself. You don't get cut, man. You might get cut. Chuck Davenport, love your Cylons, Chuck. And let me see. Erica's on. Bert Oliver Bulmer is on. And Sean Shallow from Battlestar Bulletin Board, thank you very much for joining us. And I know there might be some of you over on YouTube. Chris Laskowski from Down Under, thank you for joining us. All our regulars are coming on board.
Jim's over there on YouTube.
Who is?
Jim.
Oh, cool. Jim, thanks, man.
Can you see it? You can't see it on the screen, can you?
It's really small. It's really, really small.
Time to get a bigger monitor, Pete, or some better glasses.
Yes, I need to get one of those. No, I need to get a monitor like the one you have that's like, what
Just
is it,
one?
20?
I have 4.
27 inch, 29 inch, like
20,
a 32
I got 4
inch.
27s.
I need to get a 37.
Actually, after I get 42, done with this, I have to,
42.
Before I go on, I have to put the sunscreen on.
Yeah, I'm going to get a 42. But thanks, everyone, for Brooklyn Talk. Hey, Paul, come on, man.
Hey.
So, thanks again, everybody. And so if you are, I don't know what you're drinking. I know you started early, so you are
no, I haven't started that
loose-tongued and you are ready to go.
I'm ready. So what are you drinking?
I'm having tea.
You're a teetotaler.
Tea.
Tea, what kind of tea? Is it chamomile, Earl Grey?
It's one of
turmeric.
Those. It's one of the...
like...
All right, stop. Just get on with it, man. Come on.
Elderberry. It's, elderberry and cinnamon with a little peppermint in there, too.
An apple.
Little apple, cinnamon, peppermint.
Spice, yeah.
Well, I'm going all out tonight, so...
Yes, you are.
I have, I always try to drink a new beer every time. I don't know if this one's I drank this one or not, but it definitely is. It caught my eye at the grocery store, mainly because it is a Golden Monkey.
Oh, Baz is with us.
Hey, Baz.
Baz, What's up, buddy? Don't get
Long Island iced tea.
knives,
That's
man.
exactly what Pete needs to be drinking.
Yes, of course. Yes, Kim.
Golden Monkey. It is a Belgian side triple, which I actually love. If you ever had a good Belgian beer, it's got to be Chimay. Go to get the bottle with the cork in it. And it's bottled, literally bottled by monks. And the money that they make from that beer goes to help philanthropy. It says even on the back of the bottle.
Talk about not being able to speak.
A little bit. Anyways.
Yeah.
One,
go
two,
ahead.
three.
Just drink it up and you'll be good to go. All right.
I got my Midtown Comics glass. Let's see what color this is. I know it's going to be dark. It's unfortunate.
Purple. I want purple.
That'd be nice to have purple.
Yeah, that'd be really cool.
Quite the head on there. That's good.
Yeah.
Doing this at a distance. From a distance.
Oh, just don't pour it all over.
Channel my Bette Midler now.
Don't pour it all over yourself, whatever you do, okay?
Oh, there we go.
Make a silly fool out of yourself.
If you have a Belgian triples, these are amazing. So, anyways. I just let that go down. I'm just going to...
Don't be afraid of it.
I'll be ready to
drink.
Go. So,
all right.
Anyways, thank you for joining us. You are all amazing. You are the fleet. We really appreciate you being here. And it's fantastic to have a show where we can connect with you and you can connect with us. Mm-hmm. And we can actually get with people who are like-minded and people who are creating new things, people who want to create new things, and people who can understand the craziness that Pete and I bring, as well as John, as well as Tara, and as well as everybody else, mediocre, everybody. We are one big, happy, crazy family.
This is true.
Crazy fleet. So, anyways,
crazy fleet. One crazy fleet.
One crazy fleet. So this is all for you. Thank you for joining us. And fans feel the fleet.
Fans feel fleet. So, guys, I just wanted to bring this up. We briefly talked about it last show.
Yeah.
Meta.
How come every beer that's 9.5% alcohol tastes good?
I don't know, because you're tipsy. That's why.
That would be 19 proof.
Oh God. Right? Okay. Yeah. Well, we brought this up last show. Tipsy Toaster. Keep drinking. Hey, Deg. Thanks for joining us. So Meta has made a decision.
Oh yeah.
They're going to be pulling all archived shows. So once we go live, and this goes for everybody that's on Facebook/Meta or Meta/Facebook, and the shows will be gone. However, we have YouTube, and so everything is over on YouTube with the exception of a couple of early shows that we're going to put up, and so all our shows, previous shows, all 5 seasons are up on YouTube. And so if you can't see it here, or for whatever reason,
start looking for an old show. Yeah, you won't. Yep. Unfortunately, won't find it after YouTube. What is it? May 1st.
30 days. Yeah.
30. May 1st, April, May. Yeah, May 1st.
May. Once May comes up,
it's only the live versions. So all of our live shows, which are all our shows,
everything
live,
we do. So. Yeah. I mean, there's some of the stuff that we've done at conventions and the like. Yeah. But so there'll be a few things, guys. But again, if you want to go back and watch anything, especially sometimes we talk about some of the stuff
I remember,
that we've done.
The chapter books. We need to get back into that. I really enjoyed
all the chapter books. I mean, we've done all of those. There's a couple that are missing. I'll be putting those up. I found a few, no problem. So just go to YouTube, guys. And we're still going to continue as long as we can. We will be doing live simultaneously both on YouTube and on Facebook. All our announcements, of course, will be, through our Facebook until we're told otherwise. And, you can go over and watch whatever you like over on YouTube. You can go back 5 years worth of shows, hundreds and hundreds of shows that we've done with all kinds of guests. So everything is there. It's going to live for now. It all lives there. So come May, don't be surprised if you're looking for anything that we've done and you can't find it. After 30 days, they will be going into the future, right, Chris? Yep. So on May 30th,
we'll always be on Facebook and YouTube. So
but it's not going to stay on Facebook starting in May.
Every 90 days, it'll go away.
Yeah, it'll go away. So starting in May, they're going to start taking down all of our archived shows. So all our stuff goes away. They're deleting everything. However, anyone that wants to watch can go back on YouTube, find all the old shows. But everything we go live with, Chris, going forward, will only stay up for about 30 days, and then they're going to be
30 or
taking that
90.
stuff
I can't
down.
remember, something like that.
I think it's 30 days because they did some, right? They
Unless
did
we
their
made
own-
it Threads.
Yes, but Threads, it's totally
Just take
it's
your
gotta be
computer monitor and
vertical.
turn it this way
Yeah.
for me, and then you'll have Threads.
Yeah. So yeah. So no content lost, Bert. No content lost because we're shifting over to archiving everything over on YouTube, so we can watch everything there. Luckily, and so
Stuff.
let's cover some more books. Absolutely,
Yeah, I think we ought to.
Sean. We're gonna
what,
do that.
I think, what books we ought to cover is
His stuff. We
oh,
want
you
to
want to talk about
Sean's
the
stuff.
we can talk about those, yep. And then
Yeah,
we got to
we wanna do
cover some
Sean's
of the novels that were not actual shows. I think
yeah.
it is
There's not a lot.
12, 13, 14. Diet Chameleon
Yeah,
and a couple others. I can't read the other ones.
that's right. By the way, our special guest is Jeffrey Morris, and he's a writer, director, production designer, and he's got some really cool stuff that he's been working on that he's actually produced and put out, both animation, live action, and he's a big sci-fi fan, big into space and space science. He's interviewed a whole bunch of astronauts, and he'll come on and tell us all about it. And he's working on a sort of like a documentary, and we'll have him explain it. And it's all about we talked about ships, right? We talked about sci-fi ships that are they're legacies, and they're iconic. And so his thing is Space 1999 and the Eagle transport ships. He's big fan of Space 1999. He's gonna we'll show you some of the stuff that he's doing, and it's just really cool. So he's coming on. But in the meantime, we have John 1, and
We do.
let's have
but
John.
I'm
Yeah,
fixing John One's picture.
good. Okay, so I've been.
You're fine,
I've
John.
been
Don't
doing-
move.
Yeah, don't move, don't move,
John's
don't
getting
go
ready
anywhere.
to go around. Stop.
So I went back to this.
Ah.
I went back to this, and if you guys, I don't know how we've talked about this many times, and actually we've had Rich Handley and Lou Tambone, both of them have been on the show. We've interviewed them. Somewhere Beyond the Heavens, Exploring Battlestar Galactica. This book is really cool. It's out there, Amazon, it's Kindle. Highly recommend. Again, if you haven't read it, I would say that probably half of it is actually dedicated to Battlestar Galactica 1978. And right, if you can see the little plus marks on there that I put on, you'll see that those are all like 1978 related. So I would say, all said and done, half of it, and it's in memory of Richard Hatch. Great book. Inspiring. It's very inspiring to us. So let's see what happens with that. Rob Baum, unofficial fact checker here for IFB Interfleet Broadcasting. And actually, no, well, I think we're on time. We're pretty good. Old books and old magazines like Omni and Starlog. Yes, I have some of those. I'll be going into my Battlestar Galactica box maybe next show, and I'll pull out some more of those cool old time magazines that I've collected, and throughout the years, the old Battlestar Galactica related. And Richard's books, yes, Kim, we did do some
Did
of
one of them? Yeah, I would think.
yeah, we started
the very first one,
one of
Armageddon.
Richard's books. Yep, yeah, Armageddon.
That was back
We
in the
did do
day,
that
so
one.
you can probably find that one.
So,
I think.
yep, that's up there, definitely up there. And
That's fun.
yeah, we have okay, so you know what, real quick, I know you'll let me know
I'm pretty much ready.
Tipsy.
I'm just doing something else right now. But go
okay,
ahead.
so let before you bring up John 1, if you guys have been visiting IFB on our Facebook on Meta, you'll notice that we put up a couple of images of the never before released Tops 1979 series 2, right? The second series of the Battlestar Galactica trading cards that were never released, right? They were prototypes, they were sheets made. Only a few of those are in existence. Well, we have a Battlestar Galactica collector, and he is in the top 5 of the graded, right? So you guys should know all about grading, whether it's comic books or cards or whatever. Our Charles Stewart is going to be a guest here on IFB. He is one of the top 5 collectors of original Battlestar Galactica cards. He has almost a near complete perfect set of the original cards, but he also has images for the whole other set that was never released. And so he's going to come onto the show, and we're going to talk all about it, and we're going to have some really cool insights. He has some really I had the pleasure of speaking to him on the phone, and man, we took a deep dive into collecting cards, but Battlestar Galactica. He's a big Galactica fan, and we're lucky to have him come on and tell us all about it. And we'll show you some more pictures. We have a couple of other pictures from that set that nobody's really seen. Nobody has ever really laid eyes. Very few people ever saw them outside of the Topps company. And so we'll talk about that. So if you haven't seen it, go to our Facebook page. Really cool stuff, guys. Very, very cool. All right, John 1, how are you, man?
Hey guys, how you guys doing? How's things?
Excellent. How are you?
Good.
Taking what they're giving because I'm working for a living.
Man. Mr. Stewart's going to come on, but I have to push him back another day. So we're going to reschedule him. So he's going to be either be on the 3rd or the 17th of April.
Okay, cool. Very cool. So there you go, guys. Right? We're going to have Charles Stewart. He's going to come on. We're going to talk all about, collecting the cards, grading the cards, what it was like growing up with them like I did, getting a box of them in 1978. But then we're going to delve into that Series 2, right? The mysterious Series 2 that were supposed to be released in 1979 and never happened. And we put up a few exclusive pictures, and we'll share a few more on air. The pictures that we put up, guys, are not the 1978 Series 1. They are the never before seen Series 2. Nobody. That's exclusive to IFB. So, John, I got to see your lineup. It looks phenomenal. There's a little bit of controversy because Tipsy doesn't like. Phenomenal. He does. He has some issues with some of it, but we'll talk about it.
Oh, okay.
I'm just going to skip through it. That's what I'm going to do.
No, you're not. You better not.
John, and move that next slide over.
No, you're not. No, you're not.
I wonder which one.
I wonder.
Oh, yeah. Come on.
Oh, really?
You should know. Because it's a total waste.
Oh, boy. Will you stop with that? All right. So, go ahead. It's all yours, John.
I work hard on this, guys. All right.
Here we go. Hang on.
First up, coming out in theaters, we have Mickey 17.
He's got the knack for it with every keystroke. He paints a vivid scene. His words transport us to worlds we've never seen. Tune into John's rhythm, his typewriter symphony, as he narrates the wonders of science fiction for you and me. His words dance off the page.
There you go, John. There's your intro music.
There you go. Thank you. I feel like they're like a montage of me, like in a big overcoat and a hat, and running through a con, talking to people.
We're gonna have to do that. We're gonna have to film that. That's for sure. Or we'll just AI it. That'll work too. I'll just get a couple pictures of you, throw it in AI.
That would do it. Yeah, we bring the best entertainment to you guys.
That's right.
All right. So coming in theaters tomorrow, we have Mickey 17, about a disposal employee sent on a human expedition to colonize an ice world.
Oops.
And then, he tries to work on it and try to fix things, and he dies, and he's brought back to life. So that should be fun. It's like a Groundhog Day meets a Snowpiercer, but Robert Pattinson stars in this dark comedy out tomorrow. The same guy that directed that Parasite movie. So he should stick to doing Parasite movies in this. Not very good reviews. But that's out in theaters tomorrow, Mickey 17. And let's see. Next is In the Lost Land, starring Dave Bautista and Mila Jovovich. This is like a dark fantasy adventure movie about a hunter and a witch goes into like these haunted lands to try to find an artifact that would turn her into a werewolf.
Well,
okay.
Just being a witch wasn't good enough, I guess.
No, wasn't good enough. She wants to be a werewitch. So, Mila, stick to the Resident Evil series. You'll a lot more better. And the returning shows coming back are now I get it. Okay, now I get which one you're upset about. No, I just figured out what it was. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Oh, but wait till I see what I say about it. You're gonna like it. Returning shows coming back are Dark Winds season 3 on AMC.
Heck yeah.
This series is a very good series. It's about
fantastic show.
a law enforcement group. They try to investigate these murders, these crimes. It sounds like a supernatural whim to it. It's very good. Good cast, good crew. And I highly recommend it. That's on this Sunday, March 9th on AMC.
Good
Check
books,
it out.
too. That was
it's good stuff.
Well, it's based on books, right?
It is based on
writer,
it starts with an H.
The writer was pretty famous, too.
Very famous. Very, very good books. Good book series. If you get a chance to listen to some of the books, they're fantastic. But the show is really good, too.
Very good show. That's also on Netflix, too, now, if you want to catch up on the first and second seasons. And let's see what else next. Also on Prime, The Torture Wheel. The Wheel of Time.
The Waste of Time.
No.
Yep.
Yes,
Waste
of
on
Time.
March 13th. I need to see if I can just turn it back. That's on March 13th on
Snooze
Prime.
fest of time.
It's good.
Oh man! And the next
you want the wheel to run over you by the time it's done with the first
Oh,
episode.
stop.
You want to be crushed by the wheel because you try to watch on the piano, it's like you get crushed. You're ready to tell them anything. Stop, just stop the show.
Tough crowd.
But Pete likes it, so it must be bad. Anyways.
And the next movie we have looks like pretty good.
I can't wait for that one.
Which will air on Netflix on March 14th. It's about a sci-fi adventure about an orphan who finds out she has a long-lost brother, and she tries to go into a different world. And it seems like there was a big war between robots, artificial intelligence, and humans. So big war between the humans and the robots, and her long-lost brother is stuck in the where the robots are living. So she teams up with a mysterious robot, and they try to go find him. Chris Pratt's in it. Millie Bobby Brown is in it, and by the time she's going to be like 40 years old before she finishes up Stranger Seasons. Before that gets finished. And that's coming out on March 14th, so that's going to be pretty good. And let's see. If you haven't seen this movie in theaters, Kraven the Hunter will be on Netflix on March 13th.
If you haven't seen the movie theaters, don't.
You're not missing anything.
If you haven't seen the movie theaters, don't. Just don't do it.
Like I said before, Spider-Man is Spider-Man, and you don't really see his bad guys. You need to see Spider-Man fighting the bad guys. I don't want to see the bad guys, especially Kraven the Hunter. There could be a lot more better guys that could have made a movie about, but that's on March 13th. And I recently attended the Long Island Horror Con. It was good. It was the first year they started. It was right down the road for me, so I figured I'd go check it out. It was their first year doing this. It was fun. There's some vendors. There were some guys that were there. The producers of the Terrifier series and Screamboat were there. So they were giving me an inside scoop on Screamboat, how they were shooting it. It was very good. I sat on a panel, a couple of horror panels. So they're kind of going to try and do it next year, so maybe we'll cover it again next year. But it was pretty fun. We got some good stuff, some books, some horror books, and a couple of things like that. So it was good. That was a Long Island Horror Con. That was the first one. And Daredevil is out now on Disney. I'm not too happy about it. And this is James Gunn confirms a new Teen Titans film is in development. More of the DC world. They're still waiting for you to deliver, James. Still waiting. So hopefully this summer you can deliver that Superman movie. It's going to be good. So that's coming out in the DC world. New Teen Titans film. So you can check that out. And if you haven't gone to comic book sessions, I have a couple of good comics for you. This one here is called Let This One Be a Devil. The Dark Horse is very good. They do a lot of good horror shows, a lot of good horror lines, Mystic and stuff like that. This is about the Jersey Devil.
Ooh, interesting.
Origin of the Jersey Devil. Very good. Very good artwork, very good artwork. So I enjoyed it. That's this thing came out in the comics, so it's very good. And the next one, you're going to see a lot of Hollywood stars back in comics. This one's called Arcbound, and Tom Hardy is behind it too, the actor.
Oh.
And there'll be some more comics coming out with actors backing it too. So it's like a sci-fi comic. It's pretty
Interesting.
good. So the first 3 episodes are out now.
Cool.
And that's it.
Well, you forgot to mention this.
Oh, Tom Bernthal is going to be producing a Punisher special for Disney pretty soon.
Yes.
He's just in the paperwork now, so it's going to be a separate Punisher. So hopefully it's got a movie.
Punisher.
And if you guys see the new Daredevil series, it was good, but I wasn't very happy with the first 10 minutes. I was like, why are you doing that for? And especially, they said Cox, the guy that played Daredevil, was behind the decision to do that. I was very annoyed about that. You'll see. I don't want to be ruin it for anybody, but I wasn't very happy about it. A lot of people weren't very happy with what happened in the first 10 minutes. Good storyline, but they could have done something better.
Oh boy, John, these guys get paid a substantial amount of money to write this, right?
Yeah.
Now, it may not be millions, but they get paid a lot of money. So why can't a professional writer? I'll tell you what the answer is. So let's just cut to the chase. If you have someone that's writing that's not a fan, that doesn't
that's
know
a problem.
the history and the lore of Daredevil, and that's who's coming up with these ideas, and that's who's writing this, and that's who's controlling it and directing. Well, you're not going to get what it's supposed to be. I mean, come on.
You're not going to
man.
make the fans happy, unfortunately.
No, you're
That's
not.
kind of the way it
You're
works.
not. So what's the point?
Especially when they're saying, thank you for the fans. The fans fought to bring this series back. They say, thank you for the fans.
Maybe now they're like,
everyone back, the
we
whole
shouldn't have fought that.
cast and crew. So,
come
thank
on,
the fans,
man.
but make the
doesn't-
fans happy.
Cast and crew wanted it back because it's a paycheck.
Paycheck, yeah.
It doesn't make sense. It's like, why? How can you guys blunder so badly? One of the greatest comebacks, Veronica Mars, right? The series ended, and the fans raised like $1.4 million to hire back all of the actors that they could, right, including the star, so they could make wrap up the entire series, and that's what they did. And they came out with the movie, and it was like fan crowdfunded by the fans, and they did it right, and it made money, and they brought it back for a little while. But the point is that that's how you make something successful. If you're going to ignore the fans, I don't know, John. That's my opinion. I don't think that's how you go forward with any of these franchises.
Yep, like Bert said, fans equals customers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
If you're not going to respect them, exactly.
People like the series. They liked it, but they didn't like what happened in the first 10 minutes. And if you see it, you'll know why. And they're part of the original people, and then you're getting rid of the crew that was there. So
That's dumb.
you're not making the fans very happy.
That is so dumb. That doesn't.
That's my 2 cents.
That's just nuts. But anyway, all right. Well, John, thanks for bringing all that stuff up.
right,
We
guys.
always enjoy, checking it out, and sometimes we make light of it. But hey, it's out there, and if it's not done well, if it's not done right, I mean, you got to hear it. We're not endorsed by anyone. We don't.
Just like we're
not
time,
backed.
Yeah. Waste of time.
Yeah, listen, I liked it. I like it, and I'm going to watch it. And I'll tell
There you go.
Listen, when I watch it, I'll let you know if it was better or the same or worse. I'll let you know. Yeah, they're trying
You'll
to
have
be
to
creative.
because-
Yeah, Kim.
well,
Yeah,
whatever.
okay. Yeah, creative. Right. That's the perfect excuse. I
More
did
more
want to.
reboots are coming out too now. Another reboot of Little House on the Prairie is just coming out now.
I
too.
saw that.
No.
Why?
Oh boy, talk about. Oh my
So
God.
many better shows coming.
If they're gonna reboot something, come on, Battlestar,
Yeah,
Battlestar.
no kidding. No kidding.
Buck Rogers. I would be happy. That would be great.
Yeah, it would be. Of course it would be. Speaking of Battlestar, Tipsy, before we went on air, I actually sent you this
Great.
one book that I found, and it's about Leslie Stevens, The Unsung Hero of Battlestar Galactica by Justin Murphy.
Hang on. I'll find it and I'll put a link up since I get
I'm
there.
going to be listening to that on audiobooks because I want to find out what the backstory, if anything, is. And I just quickly looked at our guest is here, and I am so happy that I saw Battlestar Galactica because I was going to just focus in. I was gonna like a laser into because I know he's a big Space 1999 and Star Trek fan, but I was gonna ask him and put him on the spot if he was a Galactica fan, but I'll have all of you know that he actually is a big Battlestar Galactica fan, and you will be pleasantly surprised as soon as we bring him up. However,
Here you go. Here's the book you were talking about.
Yeah, it's and I've read some stuff.
Audiobook. I didn't know it was there. I'll be buying this one for sure.
Yeah, no, I
I'll
just
throw
picked
this
it
up
up
in the chat just so if
I
everybody
picked it
else
up
wants
today
to look at it.
because I don't know. This is Leslie Stevens was a writer that worked with Glenn Larson on a lot of other projects, and he's known to have actually been involved with Battlestar to some degree, and so the book goes into it, and we'll see. I'm very curious to see what if anything is there. So let's see what happens. George
$6.08. I think I can afford that.
Yeah, for sure, man. George G says Disney has been missing the mark lately, especially with Star Wars. So there's been some hit and misses. Let's see what happens with that. Hopefully they'll get their act together. I can hardly wait to see Andor. Big fan of Rogue One and all of Andor last season as well. But we have our guest is here, right? So
give me a second.
Yep. Mr. Jeffrey Morris is here, aka Future Dude. He's a writer, director, and production designer. We're going to show you guys. We're going to share with you some very, very cool stuff that he's been involved in. I was lucky enough to have gotten some of the links to some of his work, and then some of his books as well. I'll tell you, I'm gonna ask him some questions about the Invasion America, the Parallel Man. There are shorts that go with this. So he's actually produced and directed some film, animated, live action, and there's I believe it's a documentary that he's working on as we speak. And I am super interested in hearing all about this. Big science, right? Science fact guy as well. So I think that if the Tipsy Toaster is ready, we're going to bring on Mr. Jeffrey Morris. And welcome to IFB Interfleet Broadcasting.
Hey guys, it's good to be here.
How's it go? Oh, see, welcome. If everybody looks in the back, right over the shoulder, there it is.
There's a Viper.
Yeah.
And, Colonel Ty and Boomer. And that's right, baby.
Hey, you wanna really see some Galactica?
Yeah, of course.
1 second, I'm just gonna lift this up here. Look right there. There behind me. All right, let's see. You probably can't see it. There you go.
Oh my God!
Yeah.
Whoa!
Right there.
Whoa! Which one is that? What version?
I had it custom built. And it actually lights up. It's got fiber optics in it, accurate lights. It's a studio accurate Galactica. So yeah.
Oh, you're okay. You're in. Period. There's no.
It's funny. When I was in the waiting room waiting, and I heard you guys talking about Galactica, I was like, oh.
Mic drop. Boom. Done. We're finished.
Yeah. Perfect. I'm excited to talk to you guys.
Oh, absolutely, man.
There too. Viper's right there.
We're fans of all that great stuff that we watched growing up in the 70s and 80s. Space 1999. My first love, of course, was the original Star Trek. Growing up, watching it in syndication, and then everything else that was coming up in that period of time into the 80s. That's what brought this show together, right? IFB is if you carefully watch the show, right, you'll see in the series that there are a couple of mentions of IFB, right? So Interfleet Broadcasting was
Oh yeah.
that's
Yeah, that's
our
right.
homage.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah. Oh, for
That's
sure.
it,
For
man.
sure. That's cool.
So
That's cool.
yeah. We
Yeah.
are we're happy to have you on board. You're doing a whole bunch of stuff, and I just wanted to let you know that besides the fact that we're all sci-fi fans here, I had the pleasure of taking my son to space camp
Oh, cool.
many years ago, and so we did the family camp, and we went there for a weekend of like almost like 30 hours worth of training and stuff. And I was so impressed that I became an ambassador for space camp and would go out and talk all about it. And when we were there, we actually met the director of NASA, and so just really cool stuff. And you're all up in that.
Oh, yeah.
So
Oh, yeah.
Jeffrey, tell us about your background. Tell us what you're doing these days. Don't hold back.
All right. Well, I'm, as you said in the intro, I'm a writer and director, and I do production design as well. I was deeply inspired by I was born in '67, so I was deeply inspired by the whole moon missions. I was into the moon missions like I was little. I was like 4 or 5 years old, right? Super excited to watch probably about Apollo 14 was when I really started to figure it all out, right? And I went through the whole thing, Skylab. I've got this Saturn 1B right behind me. That was they used a lot to go up there, and the Apollo Soyuz as well. All that stuff was like foundational for me. I was very into the real thing. I wanted to grow up to be an astronaut, and of course, I watched Star Trek pretty much every single day after school in syndication. Once it hit 75, Space 1999 came on. That was even a bigger deal for me, simply because Star Trek was like 300 years in the future, whereas Space 1999 was like could be in my lifetime. The idea of being on the moon and a moon base and that sort of thing, and the whole concept of Moonbase Alpha, the Eagle, that stuff was just incredible to me as a kid. I wasn't so much into the premise of Space 1999, simply because of like the moon blasting out of orbit and flying around space was a little weird to me as a kid. But the idea of a moon base and this sort of realistic looking hardware like the Eagle, that stuff was a big deal to me. I also like Jerry Anderson stuff like UFO.
UFO.
Yep,
Yeah,
Shadow.
UFO was actually, I've got a few of those things here too. That was actually, UFO was like my first sci-fi show I ever watched with my dad. So I watched that before Star Trek, anything, so love UFO, love it. It's, I think by the mid 70s though, I started sensing that the future that I was hoping was going to happen wasn't really coming. I don't know why. I think it was because so many of my young friends and people that I would talk to, they didn't get why I was so in love with this sci-fi, sci-fac thing that was going on. And I saw people kind of not getting it. And I was like, man, once I saw Star Wars, I was like, I wonder if I could grow up to make movies that use the technology and techniques they utilize for Star Wars, but use it to tell realistic stories. So I had been pitching in Hollywood years earlier, like movies like The Martian. The idea of doing these sort of realistic stories where it's like you don't need monsters and you don't need aliens, and you don't need space battles. Like space is already trying to kill you, and it's like, and so I always wanted to tell these kind of more realistic stories. So going back, I started I learned a lot about production design, reading those like Art of Star Wars books. I taught myself how to design spaceships and costumes and all that sort of thing. Went to college for cinematography. I moved to Minneapolis, St. Paul in the late 80s, started my own production company, ended up working with Prince some, which was one of my dreams. Ended up doing some work on some music videos with him and some choreography work and stuff like that. That was pretty cool. And Prince was interesting. That was pretty cool. And then let's see, I got pulled some into education and science. I started working with, by the year 2000, I worked with the Jet Propulsion Laboratory in Pasadena. And I did a lot of cool education and public outreach work with them. I kind of tracked my entire career. I've still done a lot of real science stuff. It's always been really interesting to me, and I've always studied a lot with astrophysics, aerospace, engineering, those sorts of things. That's always been something important to me. Sid Mead, I don't know if you guys are familiar with him. He was a amazing designer. He did he designed the vehicles and backgrounds in Blade Runner and Tron. The movie Tron, he's worked on Star Trek the Motion Picture. He's worked on tons of cool stuff. So So Sid was a big deal. I got to meet him in the early '90s and spend an entire day with him. He was one of my heroes. So it's like I've always wanted to try to create this sort of realistic take on what the future could be, and really looking at what kind of projected technology, what kind of projected, looking at history, looking at all these things and kind of pulling it together and creating stories based on it. So that's my background. I've in the last decade, I've produced some pretty cool short films. I did a show called Oceanus, which is it's an underwater adventure. I saw Voyage to the Bottom of the Sea as a kid. I was really excited for the show Sequest, which kind of ended up being a bit of a disappointment to me. But I feel like the underwater thing is something that we really haven't tapped. And so I did this half-hour short that ended up being a pretty big deal. And it's right now it's on a channel called Dust on YouTube, which it's got like 4.3 million views on there now, which is great. Wow. And we got really close to making Oceanus into a TV series, or movie. And what happened was the pandemic derailed it. So we were close, but it's like I made the thing around 2015. And it took like a few years to get the deal going, and we finally were going to do it, and then it fell apart. So, but I have the good news of saying that in the very near future, I'm in talks to bring this back as a feature film and TV series. We're looking at doing it even this year. So it's really happening. Yeah.
Excellent.
Which is great.
Excellent.
Yeah. And then another project that I did was called. By the way, I should reference that in Oceanus, I actually even the voice of the computer was voiced by Malcolm McDowell, he was one of my heroes, which was pretty cool. Got getting to work with him. But I did this simultaneously. I did this animated short called Parallel Man. That also Parallel Man also. Oh, that's me with Malcolm right there. Parallel Man also had in addition to being animation, we also did a graphic novel with it, mobile device game. So it was a really kind of a transmedia project, and I had John Cho did the voice of the main character. The late Lance Reddick did his AI assistant, and Ming-Na Wen, who is from Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. and Mulan, she played the villain. She's the voice of the villain. So it's a pretty cool movie if you ever get a chance to see it. That's another one that's on Dust on YouTube. It's called Parallel Man, and it's one of their top. Both of those are some of their top, and they're like their top 20 movies out of over 1,000 films. So it's pretty cool. So. Very proud to have those on there. Lately, I've been developing I shot over the last 2 years a documentary called The Eagle Obsession, which is all about the Eagle from Space 1999. But I use that as a jumping off point to really talk about guys like us. It's the documentary really gives us a chance to see not only the Eagle and its origins, but I also get to speak to some cool actors. I get to talk to some astronauts. I get to, I ended up going to the Kennedy Space Center with Charles Duke, who walked on the moon, Apollo 16. He's in it. William Shatner's in it. Barbara Bain is in it. Nick Tate is in it. I actually recreated the cockpit of the Eagle in full form in England at Pinewood Studios. And Nick Tate and I actually got in the Eagle, and his first time back in the Eagle for 50 years, which is pretty cool. So. Yeah. So it's a really cool project. It's going to be about 90 minutes long, and it should be finished. There's me with that Star Trek experience, and that's me and Shatner too. So those are some little bits and pieces of the film there and everything. So So this is a really cool movie. Let a Labor Love. Super excited for people to see it. It should be finished by May, and we're planning to hopefully have the premiere at the Toronto International Film Festival in September. Yeah. So that's a little background on me.
Wow. Well, I watched some of these that you did, and I was like totally blown away. Of course, I mean the quality of what you produced, is right up there, right? So very, very cool.
Thank you.
So I met Barbara Bain. Actually, it was just a few months ago. She had come out to New York to do a signing at Chiller Theater Expo in New Jersey, and I got to talk to her for a minute or two and got her autograph, and it was such a pleasure. Right, I always have to think of something to say because in the
Yeah.
moment you just become like a little fanboy.
Oh,
And
sure. Yeah.
you know, I'm big fan of Mission Impossible and Space 1999.
Yeah.
So, you know, got to meet her in person and talk to her, and so that was
Cool.
really, really cool. So I saw that you'd actually spoken to her and done an interview. I was like, whoa, that's so
Yeah. Yeah.
cool, man.
Oh, yeah.
That is
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah.
So where do you go? I mean, you've worked a lot with, like you were saying, like science, and you know, you've kind of, you know, put together, I think it's like, you know, educational modules that are science
Yeah, I
based and
did.
stuff.
Yeah, I did some stuff previously. I did a curriculum about what would happen if you went to the nearest star. I put it together, and it actually won an award from the National Science Teachers Association. It was all about trying to get kids thinking about, it's like, okay, if you're really going to go to the nearest star, how does that work? Like, do you how long does it take to get there? What kind of propulsion systems would you use? Could you, is it possible to even do this? If you did, are people in hibernation? Is it a generational shift? All those kinds of big questions. That's what this curriculum was all about. So that was something I did. But I've worked a lot in education over the last 30 years too, which has been a lot of fun and very fulfilling. One of the things I forgot to add is that I have a film called Persephone that's in development, and Persephone is actually my screenplay for that film. The author Kevin J. Anderson, who worked on Dune, and he's written all the Dune prequels and that sort of thing. He's producer on the movies. Kevin's a good friend of mine, and Kevin and I took Persephone and turned it into a novel.
Wow.
So that's available right now. So that was, and I'd been reading Kevin since the 90s, right? He'd been an author that I really liked. So it was just, when we first met, we just hit it off. And then he's like, well, what are you doing? And I was like, well, check this out. And he's like, let's write a book. So it's his first original sci-fi book in, like, I don't know, many years, so, which is pretty cool. So that's, I never imagined my name next to this author who I'd read, for so many years, which is pretty cool. So,
wow.
So that film looks like it's targeted. Our goal is to, it's going to be produced somewhere in Europe. There's a new virtual stage and studio being built in Switzerland, and that group is looking at. We should be doing paperwork over the summer to make that film in 2026. So,
wow.
And that's about a journey to Proxima Centauri, the nearest star, and a planet orbiting there. So,
are you allowed to tell us who the company is?
No, not. I mean, there's not. It's like it's still kind of in development. So
Gotcha.
Yeah, but it will have a really nice budget, and it will have A-list actors in it, and I currently have Isai Morales is attached to it, and Ming-Na Wen, but that cast may be subject to change as we go forward.
My God, so cool! Yeah. You got to come back and fill us in and keep it going here on IFB, man. We love that. That is so cool.
Cool, thank you.
Oh my God! And we're actually putting in links in the chat for any of the fans that might be interested in picking up any of your books. And I believe we put up, we have some links to Return to Tomorrow and a lot of your work that you've done, or the links are there, guys. So if you want to actually check that out, you can come back, or even now if you want to quickly look at
link
it.
to the videos on Dust is there too. Yeah.
So
that's
all of
great.
that's
Thank
up.
you very much. Yeah, appreciate it a lot, guys.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So Jeffrey, do you actually go to conventions? Do you do that?
I have not had a lot of time to do that, but what I am planning to do, Wonderfest,
yes,
the
of course.
model. Okay, I am planning to have a special preview screening of the Eagle Obsession at Wonderfest this year. So if people want to try to get there and come to that, you can see the movie. You'll be the first people in the world to see the movie if you come to Wonderfest.
Wow, so you're doing a premiere at Wonderfest.
Yeah. Don't call it a premiere. It's not premiere.
Yeah,
it's not premiere, but it's like a little test screening. It's like a test screening.
Test screening.
Yeah, it's like a test
getting
screening.
Feedback. Yes.
Yeah. No, but the real premiere will be in Toronto. That's the goal. Yeah.
Oh, fantastic!
Yeah.
Wow,
Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah.
So the world premiere is scheduled for the Toronto Film Festival, and that's coming up. Who else?
Yeah.
Who else who else are you vying for? Is anybody else? Boston Sci-Fi? Or
we're gonna try a lot of different places. You guys give me some places you think I should try to. I've been. Yeah, Dragon Con would be cool.
Well, I can tell you right off. So
Pete does studies on these these things. So
Yes.
he went to college and did all these studies on these things.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. No, I'd love to, let's at some point let's chat about that offline and talk about some places we could put this thing. It's great. I mean, I am, the quality of what we've done. The film is going to cost in the end around $1 million. And it looks like it cost a lot more than that. I mean, we really I approach this like it's a cinematic thing. It's not a bunch of talking heads sitting around. It's got original visual effects in it. It's got action sequences in it. It's got all kinds of, we used LED volume like they did on The Mandalorian, and we recreated some of the environments in Space 1999. So I actually, I don't know if you guys remember, there's an episode called Guardian of Piri. We actually recreated the planet Piri, and for the sequence I'm walking around on that planet, we actually built it and made it. So it looks like the Eagles landed and the whole deal. So yeah, this movie's got a lot of, it's made for serious fans, but it's also, I've tried to create something that people who have never heard of Space 1999 could watch this movie.
Wow. Okay, yeah. So we have a lot in common, so to speak. Right, John? What was that? You had a comment?
August
okay.
the 17th, 2025.
Yeah,
There's so what we did for Battlestar Galactica, Jeffrey, was we created our own it's a prequel to one of the better known episodes where Apollo crashes on a planet and he has a shootout with Red Eye.
Yeah, with Red Eye, the kind of Western episode.
Yes.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
we did the prequel to that, and we created a story of the backstory to Captain Martin, who we all we see is, or we hear who he is, and we get to see his uniform, right? His wife brings it out, and so we created the Stranded Warrior. We feel it was a 2-day shoot. It's a short. The trailer for it has won 12 awards in international film festivals. The poster we created is also an award-winning movie poster, and the film, there we go.
Cool.
There it is, Stranded Warrior. And so it's our homage to Battlestar Galactica in a way that hasn't been done before. We made some cards out for publicity, and it was our way of, kind of highlighting Battlestar in a way that hasn't quite been done. We had SAG actors with a waiver from SAG to do it, and we crowdfunded. We raised over $14,000, and it's ready, just about ready, guys. So now that you're here, we can let everybody know out there that supported us and been patient with us. We're very, very, we are the closest we've ever been to getting this completely finished and into the film festival circuit. Like you, I studied film. I went back to school just the last couple of years, and actually wrapping up my degree in film and TV production. And so I've taken some classes on the art of the film festival. And,
okay.
So I have a list of those tier 1, 2, 3, and 4 film festivals that I can share with you.
Let's
specifically.
Talk. Yeah, let's talk.
Sure.
Let's talk.
For sure.
As a matter of fact, I'm also gonna let you guys get a sneak preview to the first 40 minutes of the movie. I'll let you guys do that. Yeah.
Oh my God, that'd be awesome.
I didn't. This came up quickly when we changed nights, but I would have sent it over to you sooner. We just finished it over the weekend, but like I said, we've got another 50 minutes we're editing, and there's stuff, bits and pieces are done already, but we're just getting it all together. But I'd love to share it with you guys.
Oh, fantastic. And the fans would too. Oh my God. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
So Jeffrey, tell me what, looking back, you said, like a lot of the other kids that you were growing up with didn't quite get it the way you did. I relate to that a lot. And so for me, there was a period of time where, because the kids didn't get it, I just kept it to myself.
Sure.
Right? And it became something that, held that much more presence for me as a sci-fi fan, knowing that a lot of the kids around me that I was growing up with didn't get it. And so I figured, so I don't know, it kind of percolated until I got to junior high school, man. And when 1978 came, Star Wars had just come out, and then Galactica and everything else, Buck Rogers, Flash Gordon, everything came out.
Rogers, yeah.
I was so lucky that all of the class that I was in junior high school, there were a lot of nerds, and we just fed off each other. What was your experience like?
I would say that, I always had my close friends who got it, the close friends who got it, right? So I had my buddy, my cousin, for example, my first cousin, James, he and I were really close, and we would go see all these movies together. We saw Superman together in '78. We saw Star Trek: The Motion Picture together in '79. We were way into this stuff, and so what would happen is I would go visit him. I lived in Arizona at the time, but I would travel back to Illinois where my family lived, my relatives, and I would stay with him over the summer, and he and I started making movies. So he and I started, my first like Super 8 movies and stuff were made in his basement, and we would build ships kind of like, kit bash like they did with Galactica and these other ships. We'd buy all these model kits and make these cool big long cruisers and stuff and fly the cameras along them and everything. So we were doing all that, which was fun. But I would say that, by the time I got to junior high, I started a science fiction club at my school. And ended up having a bunch of kids join it. It was really cool, and it was and it was. I have to tell you, I've always been at this sort of nexus where, because I was I never was willing to kind of lock in with one clique as a guy. Like I was like, okay, I'm still able to be in part of these other clubs. I'm started able to, I was still an athlete. I still had, I had all these different stuff. So when I did a sci-fi club, I had a lot of kids from different walks of life who all came together, which was pretty cool, when I did that. And then I went on to in high school. I kept moving and kept doing it. I mean, we had some interest and some popularity there with it, which is cool. I grew up I went to high school in a place called Urbana, Illinois. So that was where that was. Where that's the place where HAL was created in 2001. There you go.
Connections.
Yeah. So. But yeah, it's always been interesting. I feel like there's always been a thread in this culture of people sort of not getting this idea that we could have a better future, not getting the idea of what that sci-fi actually points a direction towards something. Movie, so it goes into that. I think it's such an important conversation, like why, and so obviously there are always kids who push back against us and didn't get it, but what I will say is that I never let that sort of dissuade me from doing this. I always felt like there's room in the world for telling great stories and pointing a way to either a better future or warning us of a bad future, or all those sorts of things that sci-fi can do.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, it's not just schlock. It's not just, growing up watching Star Trek, the original Star Trek, and watching it again and again. Well, the writing was so good. The concept behind it, right? The ethos that was created, and the bottom line was, I kept over the years growing up with the original Star Trek, and as I matured and grew up, I'd go back to watch some of these episodes, and they meant something. The meaning behind it, it changed. So when you're a kid, you see the adventure, you just see one aspect, and good sci-fi, like anything else, it also has a life of its own that you bring to, that it conveys. And I saw that in Star Trek. I saw that in a lot of the good shows that you can go back and watch. You say, oh wow, as a kid you're watching, you're waiting for those action scenes in Space 1999, right? You're just like, come on, and then all of a sudden it happens, and then you grow up and you're like, holy crap, man! If I was in that thing, if I was in the Eagle and I'm flying it, and I'm like, you don't want it to go nuts, you don't want it to blow up, because
no,
right? So
no.
you start to look at it a little differently, and some of that stuff you can. There might be other shows that you can't. Maybe they're just for fun, and that's great. But some of the better ones you can actually, like you watch Lost in Space, for the good and the bad of it. sometimes, you step back. I didn't enjoy it as much because it was that tongue in cheek.
Yeah, see, it was
so
too campy for
cheesy.
me.
Yeah.
Even as a kid,
Yeah.
like you know what, Lost in Space fits in that category for me of one of those things that I wanted to love.
Yes.
Right? I wanted to love it, right? And it's like it like even as a kid, it was just it just one of the things I think you're hitting on, Pete, is this idea that we were kids, but these grown-up ideas, they still resonated. It didn't. I didn't feel like when I watched Star Trek when I was a little kid that I didn't get it. Do you know what I mean? Right? I mean, now I see things differently now as an adult looking at it. There are things that are different, but I like the fact that I was watching the show with these grown-ups on these adventures doing these things, and I looked up to them. And I was like, wow, what will this be like? Like, what if I was there? What if I could get to do that? What would that be?
Yeah.
I had the same thing. Galactica actually really resonated with me. I was one of those kids. I actually got in arguments with people because I was actually more into Galactica than I was Star Wars, and that was like blasphemy.
Here. Yep, same here.
Oh, here. Yes.
Yeah,
Cheers.
yeah. Well, that's good. That's good. I'm in good company. But I felt like Galactica connected to us in a way, if that made sense, right? Because it still had that mythology connection and the Egyptian thing and all.
Yep.
Even though it was a little far, whatever, it was still
it
like
put
really
us
cool.
in the storyline.
Right, we were in the storyline.
It put Earth
I will
in the
never forget.
storyline. Yep.
Yeah, Chris, one of the things that drove me nuts was when I saw Star Wars. Okay, so I don't know about you guys, but the first time I saw the commercials for Star Wars, I saw the commercials. I was like, "What is that? That looks so cool!" And I remember seeing Millennium Falcon and these dish antennas and all these. I was like, "Is that on Mars? Like, where is this? What is this?" Right? And so then I go to the movie theater, and the first words I see are "a long time ago in a galaxy far, far away," and I'm like, "Wait,
It's
what?"
not connecting to me.
Yeah, I'm like, "Wait, what does that have to do with me?" Right? And I went with it. I'm like, "Oh, okay," you know what I mean. But I wanted to see stories about us.
Yep.
And about so I get animated, but it's just
the effects.
It's a big deal.
The effects what got me with Star Wars. I thought those were great, and then the storyline for Battlestar got me. So
yes,
I think the to me Star Wars was like a lot of people say it was a Western in space.
Yeah,
it was just black hats, good, bad, the different things. Whereas with Battlestar, it made you wonder: could there be somebody out there?
Right?
Could there be What are they doing? Why can't they find us? What can we find them? How did they get out there? These raised so many questions in your mind.
Yes.
Whereas it didn't do that with Star Wars. Star Wars was just like, hey, I really enjoyed the storyline.
I really enjoyed it,
but it did not.
Yeah.
I don't get the. I don't feel a connection with that.
They don't feel a connection, right?
Yeah, so I think in the Egyptian piece of it, and that really inspired me a lot because I'm working on another project now. So I'm like. The Egyptian piece is just fantastic. I mean, where did they come from? Could the gods have come? What happened to Atlantis? What happened?
Right.
Is these things? Are these things? Could these things be? Expand my mind in regards to the gods. I mean,
right. Yeah.
Anubis and all of the other different gods that are out there. Could they be from space? How did they arrive here? Did they go away? What happened to the Atlanteans? Those storylines can connect with me because that is part of my where I grow up or where Earth I'm here. These things I can connect those dots to here.
Absolutely.
Some of the other ones it's just like you can't connect.
You can't connect, and it's like it's the same way that it's in some ways I'm just realizing from talking to you that Galactica almost felt like it connected to our past, right? Whereas Star Trek connects to our future, right? Which was really right. And I think that was why those both resonated so much for me, and that was a big deal. So I'm with you guys 100%. I love Galactica. I'm envious when I saw your imagery there. I'm like, man, I've always wanted one of those jackets.
We got plenty.
We have plenty left. I mean,
yeah, we got plenty for the movie. So you just tell us.
For the movie.
We got plenty of them. Don't worry about that.
Yeah.
But we have our special patch for those. So
okay, that's pretty awesome. It's pretty awesome.
So we have we like to kind of recognize as we go some of those that are jumping on live watching. Dr. Chris McCauley, thanks for popping on. I hope you're still out there. And he's one of our producers here and executive producer on The Stranded Warrior and the Tower Protocol Resurrection. our other film project that's out in the festival circuit as we speak. But Deg Graves,
Oh,
hey,
sure.
yep, he's watching. So Deg, thanks for tuning in. And let me see a couple of guys that jumped on.
Dag, actually, I saw just on Facebook today an image of your hammerhead that you did for Space Above and Beyond, and I was like super stoked seeing
another
that.
great show.
Man.
Oh
Awesome.
yeah,
That's one of my favorite. Space Above and Beyond's like in my top five for me.
absolutely.
So.
Colonel McQueen, we had Colonel McQueen came on the show. We had him
Oh,
on.
cool.
Yeah, we did an interview. I think it was like beginning of last year.
Okay.
Really, really cool dude. Really, really.
Angriest Angel, man. Angriest
man.
Angel.
Absolutely.
Yeah. That's
Absolutely.
that's like one of the best hours of science fiction of all
Oh
time.
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Jason Kellner, thank you for joining us. John Repper, thanks for joining us live, and everybody else. You guys rock. So let's circle back, Jeffrey. Let's talk about the books a little bit. I know
Sure.
that Invasion America is part of the Parallel Man universe or world that you built, and
Yep.
there's an animated short that I watched, which is really really cool, and kind of it's a sort of like I think like a cliffhanger. We don't
Yeah,
know,
yeah. Well, I
right?
did that because I was hoping that some Hollywood company would say, "This is great, let's make more," right? And I've had lots of people all around the world go, "Yeah, why isn't there more of it?" And the struggle I've had is that the pitch in Hollywood's been incredibly difficult if you're not within the realm of existing IP. They're very much like, have I seen this before? Has it been made before? Is it, so trying to pitch a brand new idea it's challenging. It's challenging. So, yeah, Parallel Man's a lot of fun, and
It's great.
yeah, thank you so much. I'm very, very proud of it. I still hope someday to turn this into something. It's the kind of thing that we did it as animation because the idea is so big. Doing it live action would be quite expensive, especially at the time when we made it. But I also, if you look at the style here, I was really trying to emulate stuff I love from the 1970s. I was thinking about
This looks
I don't know
like
if you-
what's Gundam? No, the style. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Oh, no worries. I actually had a surprising source for some of the background elements. It reminded me a lot of some of the Charlie Brown specials.
Okay.
And I really liked those as a kid. And I was like, why couldn't I bring the look of the Charlie Brown special and then mix that with a modern kind of toon shaded cartoon, like anime look, and then bring those together. And that was the art direction that I pushed for this, and everything. So, and then I also, if you want to skip forward just a little bit, like back just a tiny bit. Yeah, right about there is cool. Yeah. You can kind of get a sense of, I was trying to call, this is almost like a James Bond kind of thing as well with, I was trying to bring a lot of cool gadgets and, futuristic tech to this. And the idea of the story basically is that you have a parallel Earth where they developed a lot, instead of developing the atom bomb, some of the same experiments yielded portals to alternate realities. And so that Earth, the United States in that story actually became pretty corrupt and negative. And this guy is a warrior. He's one of their agents, and he starts to figure out that what they're doing is pretty bad. They're going out conquering other Earths and taking resources and that sort of thing. And so there's a rebellion starting to develop within their ranks. And he starts to find out hey, we're actually out there hurting people in the multiverse. How do we stop this? And so we're meeting him right at the beginning of his quest to try to figure out, what this all is and how might he stop it and everything. So it's a lot of fun. So you just saw him skip universes there. This is an area where I wanted to do a little homage to Blade Runner with this.
It looks like it.
And
Yeah.
it is. You got this super futuristic. The idea here is that you've got a refinery that's actually driving through the middle, like a mobile refinery that was driving through the middle of the city here and everything. So, and of course his car, I call it the meta car, it can actually change format. So his car actually can become a submarine, it can change and also become an aircraft, so it's a lot of fun. There's a lot of fun stuff with this because of the advanced technology these guys have. So yeah, this was a fun project for me. This is the one time that most of my stories are very science based, but this is one where I skipped into a little bit more fantasy. And but the difference between what we're doing with our parallel universes and a lot of the other ones is that we're doing like physics parallel universes. So in other words, we're looking at like, we're not doing like crazy things like everything everywhere all at once where you can have like hot dog fingers. It's more like this is a realistic world where like, okay, what if the dinosaurs were never wiped out? What might you find, in that world, right? That's the kind of thing that we're doing here, and different stuff. So it's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun.
Way cool. Very cool.
Yeah.
It's
so
exceptional.
Animation's very good.
yeah, thank you. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So this was a lot of fun to make.
So Jeffrey, how long from concept, right, to release? How long did it take you to do that one?
That one was about 15 months. About
15 months?
Yeah,
From
15
concept
months.
to completion?
Yes. Yeah, 15 months. Yeah.
Wow,
Yeah.
that's
I had a group of college interns who worked with me on some other projects, and I pulled them all together, and we worked virtually. And so we made that thing for a couple $100,000, and I did it all virtually. We just yeah, and we did this, like I said, it was a few years back when we put it together and everything. And then simultaneously, I did the graphic novel with it. As a matter of fact, if you go to parallelman.com, people can see the full graphic novel there. It's all there. So.
Oh man, that is outstanding.
I was in talks with a company called Polygon Pictures about a year ago about turning it into a feature. The issue though is that the animation marketplace has been kind of weird. So, we still have a shot. So I think Parallel Man's it certainly has a lot of fans out there, and for just being a short and this thing, it's gotten a lot of interest. So. Yeah, and if you click into that, you can see it's got a really you can basically thumb through. I think it's you can go through the whole thing. And
wow,
see the whole
and well deserved. I mean, the work is incredible. It's really good.
Yeah, thank you very much. I appreciate that a lot. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh man. So the concept for your story here, right? So the Parallel Man. This came. How did you wait? You didn't wake up one day, roll out of bed, and there you go. Like, how did that come about?
No, actually, my writing partner and I were having lunch one day, and we were talking about wouldn't it be cool to make a short film right now? We were in a kind of interim phase, and we're like, I'd like to make a short, and we're like, well, what could we do for a short that would be kind of interesting and different? And we were like, what if we had a guy on a motorcycle, and he's being chased. And he's got some device on him, and he hits a button, and so he's in the same location, but when he hits the button, he's transported to another universe, another reality. That's the idea. So then he goes from one reality to the next, and then there's some people chasing him trying to get the device back. That was the basic idea. And we were just sitting over lunch. We were at some Chinese restaurant having lunch, and we started joking about this, and then it led to all this. It led to that.
Wow.
Whole thing. Yeah.
So cool.
Yeah. So that's you can see there the beginning of the graphic novel actually starts with at the time Obama was president. So we actually had President Obama abducted by this other government and brought to another version of Washington, D.C. where it had been decimated by this enemy. And they basically tell Obama in the teaser, we're in charge now. You guys have 24 hours to surrender to us. And that's the beginning of the story. That's how it starts.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
Yeah, he says, that guy right there says, I'm Warren Cartwright. I'm your new leader. You work for me now, basically. Yeah.
But that world is not ours, is it?
It's not ours. But they're going to be sending troops. They're going to be sending troops and technology to our world in 24 hours to take it over. And it's basically, do you want to surrender? And we're either going to do this peacefully or we're going to do it the hard way. Which way do you want to do it? That's what Obama's told in the story right there.
So he's but that's Obama from our world.
Obama from our world is abducted and told, you got 24 hours and we're coming.
Oh boy, because
that's how it starts. Yeah.
You could have had him. It could have been at the time. It could have been an Obama president in another alternate reality.
Well, in the comic book, he meets an Obama from another reality. In the comic book, there is a scene
Boom, there you go.
where another Barack Obama he's in Barack is in our Barack is it goes into the bathroom, and waiting for him in the bathroom is this alternate Barack Obama. And he basically, and I don't know if you know that, like, a lot of people didn't know that Obama smoked a lot. He actually he smoked. I think he stopped before his presidency was over, but he was a smoker. That was kind of a hidden thing about him. And one of the things we did was he starts smelling cigarette smoke, and he turns around, and there's a version of him smoking a cigarette saying, "Hey, man, I think you better surrender." I mean, it's not, it's like, I surrendered in my universe, and look at how great things are. You should do it here too. That's basically what he does.
Oh, wow.
And this version of Obama has a big afro, and he's wearing this kind of 70s clothes, and he's smoking, and he's totally it's really funny. It's really funny scene.
Really cool.
Yeah. So I recommend people check out Parallel Man, the graphic novel. It's really fun. It's got some cool stuff in it. Yeah.
Chris put up the links to it, so if anybody wants to follow that up, you want to pick up a copy, we got links for you in the chat. I did want to emphasize a comment that was put up by one of our regulars, John Repper, when we were talking about the Star Wars. He said there was a strong camaraderie among the Galactica characters, and in Star Wars: A New Hope, they were sarcastic with each other mostly.
Yes,
it was not the same, right? Galactica had that buddy thing, and I thought that was important to kind of just.
Can I speak to that for just 2 seconds?
Absolutely, please do.
So one of the things that I actually have spoken at a couple of science conferences in the last few years, and one of the things that I talked about is how frustrated I've become, like, with the state of shows like Star Trek, like since 2009, for example. Like, if you watch something like Star Trek Discovery, they're so snarky. There's no chain of command. The characters talk down to even the Strange New Worlds. They don't talk. There's no chain of command. Like, the writers clearly don't understand how this stuff works in real life. They just don't. Nope. And the part that really bothers me is that I feel like everybody's they've got problems, and they're addicts, or they're
all your heroes are flawed.
Everybody's flawed. Everybody's got a problem. It's like they're super flawed, but then this situation is going to start making them better. And I've spoken to some big audiences, and I've asked people. I've said, "How do you feel about this?" It's like, because to me, when I look back at, like, the original Star Trek and Battlestar Galactica, or even Space 1999, the first season, the characters, I felt like they all had their stuff together. I felt like they were all people who were consummate professionals, who were then thrown into situations that challenged them, right? As opposed to being these super flawed individuals that, and I want to get back to that. I feel like that's something that's really, really missing nowadays, is having heroes who are motivating, who are inspirational, and who actually come from the best, as opposed to,
I like to look back at, being in the professions that I am. I like to look back at the old Adam 12. And Emergency and those kind of things.
Absolutely.
Where these were people you could trust. These were people that were there to help.
Yes.
You don't see police shows like portraying that anymore. To sell a show or a movie now, it seems like you have to have
deep
crooked cop or deep flaws and I don't understand why that is. I mean, is there some kind of scientific thing that came out that says, you know what, from now on, we've, to sell this show or to make this show, was it crappy writing that had to have that in there to make that, or is it just did our world turn?
I think it has to do with the direction of our world. I think there's a lot of cynicism. I think that it's gotten very negative and very I think there's a lack of hope. There's a lack of positivity. I think that also it reflects the writers.
Yes.
Honestly.
Yes.
I think a lot of these writers, I look at it, I'm like, man, that guy must have some issues. When I see it, I'm like, what?
They got a dice there. He goes, okay, my character is going to have alcohol issues. Okay.
Right.
Dice,
as he takes a drink. As he takes a drink while he writes. Yeah. It definitely feels that way. And I will tell you guys, I have a story in mind that I'm slowly working on that's going to in a few years, once I've gotten a few of these big things out under my belt and I've gotten to where I want to be, my goal is to bring this. I have a story that I've come up with that basically is the intersection between the original Star Trek and Battlestar Galactica. And I'm taking those two as sort of my reference point. And like you talked about, the camaraderie and the positivity and the idea that these guys are real heroes. Sure, Starbuck liked to sleep around a little bit. He was a little bit of a play, whatever.
Yeah,
I mean,
he was a little bit of a cad,
that didn't define Starbuck. You know what I mean? It was just a little side attribute of him, right? So I have this idea. I don't really want to talk a bunch about it yet, but it's if I pull it off, let's just say it gets back to the aircraft carrier in space concept, but it's putting it into a situation where you have this group of warriors who are just kind of sitting on their thumbs, and then they get put into a situation where it's like, oh my God, like, what are we going to do? Right? It's suddenly the rug is just ripped out from under these guys. They go from being completely bored and completely on top of it to completely in this like, oh my gosh, what are we going to do? How are we going to deal with this? Yep. And it's a really cool story, and I would love to talk to you guys about it someday as I get it.
Amazing.
So that's my dream project. So it's a space that kind of space opera that has these really cool heroes that you can believe in and that you want to follow, and I just think we need that right now.
Yeah.
We need that.
Yeah, we do. Listen, you know what, Jeffrey? It's not even right now. I mean, just in general.
Yeah.
Right. I think in general, why not? We could use that. I think at any time.
Yes.
Right. Just like it existed in the past for us, and it influenced us, and we got to see it. And it's like, we're watching Star Wars, and if you push too hard into Star Wars, it's like, Han Solo is a smuggler, and he's smuggling what?
Yeah.
Does that make him a bad guy? And Darth Vader, which is, he's not reviled, he's a genocidal maniac, and it's like, whoa, it's Darth Vader. Everybody loves Darth Vader.
Yeah.
You love to hate the bad guys, but
I think the best we've seen come out in a long time has been The Expanse. In regards to science fact, but also Holden and a couple of people there were people that you would like. If I was a kid and was watching that, it was built for a small or younger generation. You would say, I would want to go out and play Holden. I would want to go out and play. You don't see Star Wars wise. You don't see a lot of people. I want to go play Darth Vader. I want to play a Stormtrooper.
No.
Yeah.
I mean, it's Starbuck. I want to be. Our people are Starbuck and Apollo, and
I want to be Starbuck and Apollo. I wanted to be. I wanted to be these guys.
Boomer.
Boomer.
Are you kidding? It's like
the people
Colonel Ty.
Yeah.
Oh my God, Colonel Ty, and I would vacillate between all of them, and at any given time, I'm like,
I thought Adama was cool. Adama was a very venerable,
fatherly figure.
Yeah, he was really a noble, consistent presence. There was something about him.
It was somebody who you would look up to, and
yes,
you felt his experience, you felt his ability to lead. And
then Boomer was always like that middle guy, right? He was like
Boomer was the scientific guy.
Yeah, if Starbuck
he got more scientific as the time went on. I mean, at the end, he was the communications guy. So.
Think about that sort of triumvirate thing that they did on the original Star Trek, where you have the three characters. You got the thinking in Spock, the feeling in McCoy, and the willing in Kirk. Thinking, feeling, willing. Right. You had the same kind of thing going on with Starbuck, Apollo, and Boomer. Right. And I always felt like Apollo was a little bit of a goody two shoes, whereas Starbuck's a little bit too far of a playboy.
Plays a little loose, and then
Boomer's
the one that kind of pulls.
And Boomer's the one that was like keeping it all together.
That's one of the biggest things that I was always a big fan of was that Boomer's the middle of the road, right? So like you said, Apollo's by the book, and Starbuck can be almost sometimes just
almost too far.
Yeah,
too far.
And it's like Boomer, and so that kind of like eventually I was like, Yeah, Boomer is definitely one of my favorites,
Yeah,
man.
Boomer's the
Oh,
guy. I
heck
mean,
yeah.
it's like you know how these characters will, as you evolve, just like you talk about McQueen, right? In Space Above and Beyond, or
Right.
things. Boomer's basically Boomer and Ty are my favorite guy. It's not that I don't like Starbuck and Apollo, I do, but I just as I've gotten older, I really appreciate Boomer, you know, and I also appreciate what Ty brought because he was like, you know, Adama was up there, but Ty was like he was down there with the every, you know what I mean?
Yep.
They
Right.
respected him. They were in, you know, it was really cool. It was really cool. So you guys, when I start developing this show, and I will do it, I'm going to be coming to you. I'm going to be
Yeah,
telling.
of course.
I'm going to,
Yeah.
yeah, I'm going to consult with
Yeah.
you guys on it because
Open
it's
door.
you are my audience. You're exactly what I want for this show,
And that's
yeah,
that's why we're here.
yeah.
Jeffrey, you gotta ask though, the elephant in the room now, since we've gone, we've stepped kind of we're still in the mix of your creativity and your projects, but we've taken on, we start talking all about our loves for sci-fi. Um, how I know you've met William Shatner. We talk about Barbara Bain, some of the Space 1999. But what about Galactica? Have you ever had the pleasure of meeting any of the actors?
I had lunch with Richard Hatch
Did you
a
really?
couple years
Excellent.
before he died. Yeah, just me and him.
Oh,
We had
wow.
in Burbank. We had a nice long lunch one day. We talked a lot about he was in the midst. He had just finished doing. I met him in 2012, and we had lunch in 2012, and he had a lot of feelings about how people their response to Tom Zarek, the character he played in the
Yeah.
reboot of Battlestar Galactica, and
Yes.
he really felt like Tom was maligned as this villain, and he saw Tom as a hero. And I'm like, I don't know, man. It was but it was really we had a wonderful conversation. It was really cool, and we got to know each other. We talked about the possibility of trying to work together on something, but
Oh, wow.
yeah. And then I also, many years ago, Terry Carter, he and I exchanged a lot of conversation on Facebook. We
Okay.
talked quite a bit, which is cool. And I told him about how much I looked up to him when I was a kid and that sort of thing, which is really cool. So those have been my two Galactica interactions from that. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Good.
Yeah.
Excellent. I was afraid you were going to say no, but you're full of surprises, and I like that. I had the pleasure of meeting Terry Carter at a failed convention in Saratoga in New York, and so he was there, and a couple of others. Their way was paid. The hotel was paid for. They canceled the show the first day, the Friday, and I was staying over, and I got to hang out with him for a long period of
That's
time.
awesome.
And he's
Yeah.
what a gentleman,
That's so
really
funny.
nice guy. He had gone to law school,
Hmm.
St. John's Law, and I was an undergrad at St. John's, and so we kind of struck up a conversation starting with that. I asked him about it and why he didn't pursue, and so it was great. Herb Jefferson is such a
Yeah.
gentleman.
So it's
Every
funny how
time you meet the
you
guy,
stated with
oh my
your
God.
canceled convention. I got to sit with Herb Jefferson for like
Yep.
6 hours because of another canceled convention
Oh,
for
wow.
COVID. So we
Yeah.
were supposed to do AllCon, and that never happened in Texas. And but I drove down there like was it from DC to Texas? It was like 12, 14 hours. Drove down there to do our shows and talk to people there, and he stayed. He was such a great person. He's like, you know what, I'm already here and I'm not afraid. I want to meet my fans and I want to stay here. And the
Yep.
convention's like, sorry, we're not going to do the convention. We're going to close the hotel. And he's like, put me a table in the fracking lobby. And so
Wow.
they put a table in the lobby, and we sat down there, and he pulled out pictures of his grandchildren, and we felt like I was
Yeah,
sitting
he
with
is such a cool
he was a
dude.
great
That's
guy.
awesome, guys.
He
I'd
has
like to meet him.
yeah,
Yeah,
great
Oh yeah.
stories.
I'd like to meet him someday. Yeah.
He is such a gentleman, such a great guy. I've actually sat and watched his table when he went to take his break. I met him at, as a matter of fact, I met him at Wonderfest, and a few years back, and there were. So you're headed to another con yourself. and we sporadically go out and do cons. What give us again, like, what it is that you're now, like, you're going to be doing. You said a screen test on your project that's coming up, and so you're pretty much focused on this one project for now. How long is that going to last? Is that going to last us the rest of the year?
No. And I am simultaneously developing the pitch for the Oceanus TV series and movie. So my goal is I'm jumping into the Oceanus project as soon as the Eagle session's done. I'm jumping into that as a I'm either making the film or I'm going into development on the TV series, or we're doing both. So it's going to happen though. I've got producers. I was told we're doing it. We're really going to make it. So for the first time, we're really going to do this. This is great. So I still have the submarine that we used in storage. We're going to bring it out. We're gonna bring it up to speed, and there's a lot of cool ideas. It's pretty exciting. There's a big mystery in the short film, and I'm excited for people to see like what that really is. And there's a lot of discussion in the Oceanus movie about AI and all kinds of cool stuff that we're doing. So
Very cool.
That's my big project. And then Persephone's already ready to go. It's like good to go. We just gotta get. It's like I call it just add money, and so I'm hoping that'll come together and everything. So yeah.
That's your submarine, right?
That's our submarine. Yeah, yep. That's the sub.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, Jeffrey, it's been quite the pleasure to have you on IFB. A fan always brings another quality to their work, what they do, how they do it, how it's put together, like nobody else does. And it's been proven time and time again, whether it be Marvel, we were talking about Daredevil, and we're talking about a lot of these other shows that are put together by executives, professionals in their field that are not fans, and it shows every time. And so when someone that's a fan puts something together, it also shows, and in a good way. So we want to support your work, and we're here for you.
I appreciate it, guys. I really appreciate it. Yeah. I'm gonna do, I'll share my screen. I liked you guys so much. I'm gonna do one thing. I'm gonna share a little bit of the Eagle Obsession if you guys want to see it.
Of course.
Sure.
Okay. All right. Let me pull up something here.
Oh
How
boy.
this works backwards,
man.
I don't know. Hopefully, I haven't done it this way before.
Let me show you. So does that pop up?
I see that. Yep.
Yeah.
I don't know about the
Okay.
audio well, but
Okay, so this is a little bit of I'm going to show you guys a little bit of the interview I did with here. I'm just going to skip back. This is an interview I did with a woman who's an astronaut who went up on the SpaceX missions. She was the first civilian, all civilian mission, right, to space. So here's an interview. So this is a little bit. There's the interview I did with Barbara Bain. Here's a couple moments of that. I'll let you see a little bit of that. So you imagined a world where cancer. Can you hear that?
just barely.
Just barely.
So that's a fact. That's the kind of thinking that I think we're talking about, right?
You can hear it, but it's not moving video-wise. So
Oh, it's not.
They probably block it.
Oh, okay. Well, then let's just. Okay, we'll find a different way to get you guys to see
Yeah,
it.
if you
So-
just
very
if you
cool.
send me a link, I can do it, but I don't want to do that. I don't want to.
Okay.
All right.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
we'll save it. Listen,
Save
this
We'll
is
have you
not
come
gonna
back.
be-
That for sure.
Yes.
Okay. Okay.
We want you to come back. We want to have some other discussions,
Sure.
some conversations offline. There's some stuff that we can share with you. We've done a lot of homework over the last year.
Yeah.
Year plus, doing the whole festival thing, and doing some grassroots producing and writing and stuff. So we're here to help you out in any way we can.
Okay.
And we look forward to having you back, man. This is this is you're a fan, and we do this
part of the
for
fleet.
fans. So you're part of the fleet, man. You're gonna come
Yeah,
on
no, hey,
anytime.
honored to be part of it. It's really great to meet guys like you. It's really this has been a real pleasure to get a chance to talk to you guys. It's been
Oh,
great.
likewise.
Yeah.
And look, it's a Galactica thing. Jeffrey, I've like you, fan of all these other sci-fi stuff,
Yeah.
but there's something, it's a magic that comes with Galactica, the original, and here it is, right? Yet
Yeah.
again, I mean, if it wasn't for the original,
Right.
Chris and I would not have met. We wouldn't have this show. We wouldn't be able to bring you on. And we have a really good team, John, one, and the rest of everyone else that makes this happen. So thank you for taking the time out, and the best of luck on everything, on all your.
Oh, thank you so much,
projects.
guys. No, I'm in it for all of us. I want to do this, and I was like I said, I heard you guys talking about Galactic, and I was so excited. I'm like, wow, they're gonna be surprised when they see
Yeah, we
what
were.
I've got right here. It's just right here. So it's
Oh,
great.
yeah.
So, well,
Right behind,
let's stay in
like,
touch.
There's a Viper.
Yep, there's a Viper right there. So
Absolutely.
no, but
No joke.
I look forward to speaking with you guys again in the near future. I'll send you some links, and let's just let's take this offline and keep talking.
Sure.
Yeah,
Yeah,
for sure.
All right.
I would
Great.
just, thanks for sharing your story. Thank you for sharing your vision. And it's those things that if you didn't get it out of your head, if you didn't were inspired by TV shows or weren't inspired by other people, then you wouldn't have this work that that you have now.
That's
the,
right.
The stories, the things that there's still in there.
Yeah.
It's so important to get those out and share them with everybody. I think it's
Yeah.
and you're a true fan.
Yes,
So
I am. Yes, I am. No
that's-
question.
That's the way it works. I mean, when
Yeah.
you have those kind of stories and you want to share the information, you want to share that excitement with other people, and you create a venue to do it by whether books or audiobooks or video or movies or just sitting in with a conversation. That's so important. I mean, thank you so much for doing what you do.
Absolutely.
It's amazing.
Absolutely.
And
No, thank you, guys.
also thank you for jumping on. We had to switch around some of the dates on you and stuff, and you were able to jump on today. So thank you for that as well.
Absolutely.
Here's to
Here's to
you,
you, sir.
Jeffrey, and
All right.
all
Fans
your
feel the fleet.
projects.
All right,
Fans feel the
guys.
fleet. All the
All
best.
right.
Talk to you
Okay.
again soon.
Great seeing you. You guys take care. Okay. Have a good night.
Okay, have a good night.
Okay, bye-bye.
Oh, so cool.
Well, it's
So
beyond cool, man. Oh, another connection with another great fan who's out there making, producing, writing. Right. This is what it's about, as far as I'm concerned. Right. This is why we came together to do IFB, and we have our our viewers, our followers, our friends that are out there in the fleet. All you guys. We really appreciate you coming in and watching, taking the time out and supporting us. And thanks, John, for reaching out and getting and Jeffrey, coming on and stuff.
I think I saw like 2 or 3 things he sent on YouTube. I was looking at his project. I'm like, oh
Dust.
wow, I'm happy to come into TV.
Yeah, Dust is
Cool.
is quite the channel on YouTube to get your
Yeah, isn't that
sci-fi
something?
shorts out. Yeah, it's amazing.
So yeah,
Maybe
good
we'll
stuff.
maybe we'll be on there someday. Who knows?
Who knows? We'll give it a
Yep.
try. But so cool. Way to go, John. Another major feather in the cap for IFB. That was your endeavors. You're out there helping. So thank you, John.
Thank you. I'm happy to do it. I'm glad that people in that talked about their fandom and share their visions, and it's really cool. So we have
Yep.
a lot of past guests that are listeners now. We have a listener now that's going to be a guest next week. So it's really cool.
Awesome. Yeah, it is. It's really cool. So we appreciate it, right? And this is how we get the word out. This is how there's a lot of people, and we've talked about this, a lot of creatives that are involved that are not just the faces of our shows and our favorite movies, right? And that we know a lot about the actors that portray our favorite characters, and then there's the creatives that are behind that make it possible, and those that are writing, and those that are creating worlds, and have other professional skills and talents in what they do and create that, right, Chris? I mean, we've said that many times.
Yeah, definitely. And I kind of want to, I definitely want to get back with him and find out how, he talked. I'm really interested in the animated piece. How they do it with
Man,
with software they use.
incredible.
I'm in the geeky part of it, but but it's still it's something that it's another avenue. I mean, if you can't afford actors, what's the viability of doing animation? Even a new Battlestar Galactica of 1978 was actually pitched as an animation, a cartoon at one point in time. So, I mean, that would have been fantastic just as well. But here we are. We got nothing but Ron Moore. And Galactica 1980. I get shanked.
We always forget about
say that one, but
well, I don't know. I'll tell you, there's stuff going. We're gonna do our best to keep plugging along and doing what we do and working on our projects. And like I mentioned, the Stranded Warrior is quickly, very, very quickly getting to that point where we want to meet that the deadline that we had mentioned on a previous show, which is I think May 1st.
Yep.
And that would mean that it would be up and running and in the festival circuits. There is circuits. So there's different tiers and different levels of competition that are out there, and we've done really well, right? We've won over 12 international awards with our the trailer that we made, and even the movie poster won in overseas, internationally. So we've done really well, and now it comes time to see how well the actual Stranded Warrior will do in and of itself. The Tower Protocol Resurrection is out, and we're waiting on results, as it'll be a few more months. But hopefully we'll have you guys. Thanks to everyone that's followed and supported and have that vision that we do.
Takes a fleet.
It does, absolutely. It does.
Some people say their family. It takes a fleet.
It takes a fleet. It does. It really does, and this is our fleet. So, John, any last words?
I thought it was a great interview.
Yeah,
Jeff's a really cool guy. I'm gonna run him again. Thank you again. I just sent him our trailer for Stranded Warrior. So
yeah,
thanks, and it's very good. And you guys are great. You let me come on, and I share with you what I want, and some great guests and great people and good friends, and I look forward every week. So it's keep on doing it, and we're just going on better and better things. So it's really cool.
Absolutely. So we'll have Dr. McCauley come back in the very near future, and have him give us an update on his projects. He's got a lot of stuff going on. Always. He's got a children's I think it's at least one children's book that is he's going to be able to share some of the artwork on it, and it's really, really nicely well done. And so that's coming out very soon, and there's more to it. It's not just the book itself. There's some other projects attached to this new children's book that he's got, which is incredible. Thank you, Lola. Thank you, everybody, for your kind words.
A lot of people remember. I met a lot of these people here at Alcon. So a lot of people. Let's see. John Repper was there. Chris Laskowski. It was Alcon 2020.
Yep.
We sat and talked to Herb forever.
Oh fun. Yeah, good stuff. Herb is so cool, man. I've met him several times now, and he was here at one of the local conventions in New York City, which unfortunately WinterCon is no longer in operation. But met him there and spent a couple hours with him at his table. Sat at his table there. Sat at WonderCon at his table as well. He introduced me to some of the other fans. Really, really cool dude, man. I mean, really, really, really good guy. So yeah,
We really kind of need to reach back out to him, see if I can get him to come on
yeah,
the
see if
show.
we can get him on. I know Jack Stolfer, Lieutenant Boje,
Yep, Jack is desperately
Jack,
waiting to come back on again.
yeah,
So,
so he'll be back on. We'll see. We'll get back in touch with Lorette and see
yep.
what's going on with Lorette, and maybe we can have her jump on and tell us,
Yep, Lorette's got
give
a
us
new
an
book
update.
out. So,
Yeah,
she had talked about it on our last show.
yeah,
And about how she had left it on the desk. And I told her, say, let's get that thing out there. And she finally
yep.
did. So, we find out when that's going to be published and talk to her about it too.
That would be great. Have her come back. We have a couple of other projects that are still
Stewing.
percolating. They're going to be moving forward. We're discussing contracts. So once we get out of the contract phase, we can make an announcement, but not yet. It's Galactica related. So we'll just leave it at that, guys. But we have something brewing for you guys. And I think I know that on our end we're gonna have a good time with this, and I think that you guys will enjoy it as well. So let's just leave it at that. But yeah, I don't know. I think it's getting close. Tipsy, what do you think?
Yep, I think so. I have
Yeah.
matter of time.
Yep, absolutely. Well, guys, thank you so much for tuning in. Really appreciate it. Last show was, I mean, the views on the show it speaks for itself. Thank you so much, everybody. Hope you guys are around for our next one. It'll be just as good, I expect. And
Yes.
I don't know.
So
Stay safe.
stay safe. Yeah, thank you for everything that you guys do.
Don't forget to click the thumbs up.
Yep, thumbs
'cause,
up, likes, follow us on social
likes,
media.
all that stuff. They
Make
look
sure
at
you
that.
check out YouTube because
Yeah.
Facebook is going to start deleting some of those videos. So start liking us over there on YouTube just in case you don't want to miss us
Please,
there.
yes, absolutely.
And John's on Wi-Fi. I can tell because it stops and then he speeds up like Chinese guy, and then it goes again. So that's a typical Wi-Fi connection.
Oh, boy.
Wi-Fi routers.
Yeah.
I won't go too geeky on there. So let's.
Oh, my
stop there.
God.
So
All right.
I can tell you how Wi-Fi routers work. So, anyways.
And I'm looking at it.
Yep. Thank you for coming on. Thank you, John,
All right.
for setting everything up. And
Mansfield the Fleet.
That's really, guys.